welcome to Central Texas Gardener. I'm Tom Spencer. We may spend our days working in the garden, but at night, especially in the heat of summer, it's where we like to relax. With strategic lighting, we can enjoy our outdoor spaces after hours and create a new gardening persona. Today, lighting designer Bill Biggadike illustrates how we can add function and artistry to the garden at night. Well, right now we're going to be turning to a different kind of subject for us here in Central Texas Gardener, and I'm really excited by talking to Bill Biggadike from Biggadike and Associates, who is a lighting designer and installs beautiful lighting systems for people so they can enjoy their gardens during the evening hours. Well, it's great to have you here, Bill, first off, and your work is really exceptional, and I know that people will be excited to be in touch with you after they see the images that you brought along. But when we're talking about lighting design, you have a couple of real good tips for people about what they should be looking for in a company and why they should be lighting the yards. Let's start with the advice about the company itself.
One of the most important parts of landscape lighting is the design. And having somebody that's done numerous projects and knows what products are available can make all the difference in the world. And then next, having crews that are properly trained, that won't do any damage to your trees by the way they either climb the trees or install the fixtures. And then are the plants that around them. And then again, you don't want somebody falling out of a tree.
Absolutely.
So they have to know the proper safety techniques.
Right, right. That and also knowing the equipment, because there's lots of different options out there, right?
There's quite a few. I go to, they have what they call Light Fair, which is a nationwide thing where they showcase a lot of their products and stuff. So there's, I mean, the Japanese are making them. They're making fixtures in Australia and bring them here. Some are made in Germany and being brought over. So there's a wide variety of fixtures out there. So you want to make sure that the quality of the fixture that you get, you're going to be able to get parts for it later on, and that it's going to be easily serviced. Some of the products look nice, but trying to do maintenance on them is a nightmare, and you almost have to throw the fixture away. So there's a big difference there.
Now, when people actually are moving in the direction of installing lighting, there are really three overarching concerns that you've talked about when for reasons for doing lighting. What are they?
Well, first off, when you meet a client, you find out what their lighting needs are, and you try to tie both security as well as the aesthetics into it. You don't want your yard looking like a prison or a freeway, with big lights blasting out. Sure. But you want it subtle and very soft. And so you've got the security aspect of it. That way, so often, with our busy schedules, you don't want to come home to a dark house. Absolutely. And by the same token, so many men travel in their business and work all late hours. They want the security for their families. So that's two reasons that it's really important. The next is aesthetics. You want to be able to enjoy your light at night. With it getting dark in the winter months at 5:30 and the sun not coming up till 7:30, those of us that work outside the house, the only time we get to see our yard is at night. And so by having it properly lit, it invites you into your yard. Well,
our very first image that we're going to show is an illustration of that invitation. And this shows a doorway in a home, and you're looking out into the landscape. Describe what we're seeing here.
What you're doing is you're looking out through a door, you see the pool, and then in the background you see the aesthetic by uplighting up into the tree. And then you have a little bit different color light that shines down on a fountain, and they put seasonal flowers in there. And that's just to the right of the tree, so that brings that out.
Well, again, it's that whole sense of inviting people into the landscape at night, and glancing out a window at a scene like that, who wouldn't want to go out to the pool and swim around in the evening? Right. Now, the next image that we have is kind of talks a little bit about what you should be looking for in a company, but it also shows a perfect subject for lighting as well.
Right. The way that we do it, and our method has been approved because we did the lighting when I was with John Watson for the San Antonio Botanical Gardens, and they approved our installation method. And you see here that we use ladders as opposed to using spikes, that Gilbert, our climber here, has the proper tools on and the rope and saddle and all the safety gear that he needs so that he's not going to fall out of the tree.
Mm-hmm. That's really important. We have an after picture, though, of the same tree.
Can I say something?
Sure.
If you would take a minute to look at that picture, before picture, you probably didn't notice that sculpture back there, but at night we have that pinpoint spot hitting it.
Okay.
And then you have the uplight, which is dramatically highlighting the canopy of the tree.
Right.
And then you have the soft dapple effect that's coming down onto the ground. That's achieved by getting in the top of the tree and filtering light through the branches. We get probably within about 3 or 4 feet of the top of the tree.
It has a beautiful moonlight effect in the garden. This next image is just another beautiful illustration, and to me it speaks of, it's romantic looking, but it also it gets to that question about security and invitation as well, because now you're not only invited into the yard, but maybe to the path beyond the pool even.
Right. It enlarges in an area. You know, you look at things 2 different ways. Even if it was cold outside and you didn't want to go outside, it takes, instead of looking at a window and having a black hole, you're able to look through the window and see what you created during the day.
Right.
And that's what this does, with the uplighting behind it, and then the soft dapple effect around the pool, the feature light on the urn. And another thing that's important too, if you've got kids, having that soft light around the pool, you can always look out there at night and make sure none of them have wandered out near the pool.
Okay, it's another nice point. The next image that we have here, I believe, shows steps, and this is again illustrating safety and security in a way, because you're clearly seeing where you're going to be walking. But it also is an invitation, perhaps, to come out and sit in that chair.
Yeah, you know, you talk about that. I had a client. They had small kids, and we did the lighting for them. And when they finally got the kids to bed, and they called me up after I'd done the lighting, and they said, "Bill, we got our kids to bed, we got us a bottle of wine and some cheese, and we just went out there and sat in the moonlight and had a romantic evening."
Well, that's a beautiful evocation of the kind of spot we're looking at right now. Now, this has applications for both home and office.
Yes.
And the next image that we have does show an office space. And this is, again, a nice way to advertise, I guess, yourself, but not in a glaring or offensive way at all.
We call this nighttime marketing, because you take the assets, because, you know, the person that built this office building, you know, built it, and during the day, you know, he has his landscaping and his trees, and that's a huge asset around that, and that's why he put it there. And what we do is we bring that to life at night, so that when people drive by, you know, they're able to see it, and sets it off from other office buildings.
Well, it looks almost residential, not like an office building at all. I mean, it's that inviting. The next image we have is one, I think there's a good lesson in this, and it has to do with, you know, really opening a landscape for you, and it also spotlighting architectural plants.
Yes. Palms are beautiful, whether they're these really tall palms, or you go with your shorter, these are sable palms, I believe, and you go with your shorter...
looks like a queen palm there.
Queen palm, yeah.
Right.
Or you go with your short ones. Either way, having those things uplit, the trunks will really create interest, because they're not smooth, and you get shadow play on it all the way up it, and then you come down, and right below those palms on the right and the left are 2 arbors. So what we ended up creating is the moonlight coming through the arbors, and it's like a bright moonlight night.
And again, it gets you out into the landscape. And one thing, I think people really are, when they go out or walk away from a house, especially at night, they want to be clear what they're stepping into. And that's why these become so inviting, because all of a sudden you say, oh, I can do that. I know I'll be safe. I can follow the path. I can see where I'm going, you know.
You won't see snakes on the ground.
We would be surprised how many people talk about things like that.
Well, that other one we saw where the steps were, you know, again, what we're seeing here is not so much we're talking about the lighting, so we're looking at the lighting. But if you walked into any of these yards, our greatest compliment would be you know, gosh, how beautiful it is. Look at the canopy of the tree, or look at, here we see the stuff on the wall.
Right.
You know, not so much The light, but, you know, because...
And the lights bring the garden to life.
Right.
Absolutely. Now, Bill, tell people how they can be in touch with you.
We have a website, Biggadike and Associates, or they can call me on my mobile, 830-743-3340.
All right. Well, we'll have that on our website for folks to be in touch with you. And I know that looking at these beautiful romantic shots, all of which look like the moonlight is out, it's a great invitation to Central Texas gardeners and folks everywhere just to get out and enjoy their gardens on probably the only comfortable time in the day here
yeah.
in the middle of a Texas summer.
Well, I want to thank you very much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it, Thomas.
Well, it's been fun having you on, and I hope that lots of folks will give you a ring.